Hi, everybody. Okay, we are back for the third session in our Fear of Success series. And today we're going to talk about fear itself. All right. So I think that this is the topic that is all encompassing, and we're going to tie up some loose ends today. What is the difference, do you think, between fear of failure and fear of success, which is the word we chose to go with? What do you think?
I think most people at a certain point understand they're going to fail at things. It's part of the success journey. It's a required step, and fail fast, fail forward type stuff. But I think when it comes to success, I think there's a little bit of fear of judgment. The change, I'm not sure if we talked about, I think we did on one of the other sessions where as I was changing and going into full-time coaching and mentoring, that I had some friendships I was concerned might not stand up the test of time. And one of them did die off. And when you're doing different things, we fear, what are people going to think? And you will catch me talking to others saying, I don't care what other people think. And that's true. But there are groups of people that I do care.
Yeah.
And those are the people that are important to me, that are in my inner circle. And when I was looking at doing this coaching journey, I was struggling with it. Am I crazy? This is something I felt called to for a long time. And I talked to 3 or 4 people that were very close to me. And to say, hey, I'm looking at doing this. What do you think? And the first 3 were like, oh, you'll do awesome. And I was like, and the fourth one, a former boss, Michelle Sorrells, she said, are you running to something or running from something?
Mm.
And I said, I'm running to something. She goes, I've seen how much you care. Go. And it was ironic. She had a dear friend that has become a dear friend of mine. Didn't know that they knew each other. And all of a sudden we found out that my friend, Dr. Charlie, was good friends with Michelle. Had no idea.
Love that.
Yeah, it was really kind of cool. And I think we just think, oh my God, because of change and what are other people going to think? And I think that's the biggest thing that drives into it. And, we talked one of the other sessions about the Marianne Williamson quote, we fear our light. And, I think we get into, the imposter syndrome stuff.
Yeah. Well, you got like a couple big topics right off the rip, Dennis. Wow, way to dive deep. Can you all tell that this is one of Dennis's favorite jams? So let's start with that quote, because I think that as we've been building this series, and if you're not watching the series in any kind of order, it might help you if you watch it in order, but you can hang with us however you would like to show up. That quote, you made the comment, we all know it for those first few lines. But at the end, I even called you out on the part where it says at the bottom, it's actually fear of ourselves that is the factor. And isn't that the most difficult perspective to have? Do we actually fear our own power?
I think we do. And I pulled it up. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. And who am I is the question people will come to us with sometimes when we're working with them.
Yeah.
And why not you? Who else? And I think society or our families of origin, or depending on where you're from, has often put a certain mindset or expectations have been kind of implanted in your operating system that, go to school, get a job, instead of why shouldn't you be self-employed and help others and do what you want to do?
Yeah,
And
I think pointing this part out is interesting because we were talking before we got on camera today that success in this series like we're doing isn't just about a business venture that you could be considering. It could potentially be about, hey, my business is now in check. Now I need to fix my financial house or my personal relationship house or something else that you know is a little bit of a burr under your saddle and it needs addressing. You have to trust that you are powerful enough to fix it without fear of rejection, without fear of failure. And those pieces, I don't know that it's the same as fear of success. I think that the fear of success has its own stigma. Success, I think, has another piece. We know what it's like to maybe fail in our relationships and maybe have not figured it out, or to fail financially and have to get back on our feet again. We'd even have a business fail and not be able, either get it back or not get it back, start over, all of the scenarios. Fear of success, though, I think I hear people say, well, we talked about this last time, I should be humble. I shouldn't say it out loud what I want because I'm trying to be humble. Or maybe I lucked into it last time, this success, I lucked into it last time and I don't want to chance fate. For some of my female clients, we hear things like, oh, well, she slept her way to the top, or she got there because of her good looks. There's a lot of head trash around being able to succeed.
And be comfortable and grateful and enjoy it. So let's talk about I should be humble. You can be proud and not be egotistical. And again, it's all about, are you grounded? And do you have, for me, I've really been having a lot of conversation. Do you have a gratitude practice? Because I'm very much about being financially responsible. I got a Dave Ramsey background, and there's nothing wrong with having really nice stuff as long as the stuff doesn't own you. If you're making $2 million a year and you want to spend $2,500 on a set of golf clubs, or you want to buy a toy, do it. For me, I'm a experience and travel guy. That's where I have a budget. When I was doing the Dave Ramsey stuff, the moment I was debt free, I had a budget line item for travel. And I would have people go, must be nice to be able to go to Australia. And I said, it is. I said, and they have flash sales just like Southwest. I bought a ticket for less than $900 round trip to Australia. Okay. And it was from LA. I had to fly at Southwest. I waited for their sale. But everyone, and again, it's that judgment, that trying to shame you. And I won't tolerate it. And yeah, you lucked into it the first time after working your tail off for 10 years. Every overnight success has been at it for 10 years until suddenly they're discovered or things hit it big. Let's not kid ourselves. And has a woman slept her way to the top? I'm sure in the past there's been a couple who have. That's the outliers, because talent and hard work is why they've gotten where they are. And the people who say she slept her way to the top are jealous, small-minded people trying to drag other people down instead of being happy for them for their success.
Yeah, I think all of these pieces are still rooted in some kind of fear. Like someone, to your point, someone might find me out. Am I really an imposter? Which I will just say, for those of you who don't work with me, I hate the word imposter syndrome. I think that it's overly used. And if you come to me and say, I think I have imposter syndrome, like you found it on WebMD. My next question for you is, do you think you're a fraud? Because that is what imposter syndrome is suggesting, that you believe that you are a fraud. You're not entitled to what you have. You didn't do the work to get there. You have some kind of thought process. And for those people that are listening right now, if I say to you, are you a fraud? You probably had a very violent reaction to, no, I'm not a fraud.
No, I've worked hard to get here.
Right. But if I said imposter syndrome, you most likely said, oh yeah, maybe sometimes.